What's up, guys? It's the Ask Jeremy and
Carey
show. What's happening, guys? It is another day, another question, and we have answers. The question is, thoughts on CBD for anxiety? That's a big question. So I think the first thing we need to do is really talk about anxiety, and I think that it's kind of like an identification. Some people have anxiety attacks, and they don't even know what it is. And so it's this like misnomer around what is anxiety. I think some people are like, I don't even know what it is. My buddy Charlie says, anxiety, I call that adrenaline. And he gets fired up and excited. But I think there's definitely a difference between excitement, anxiety, versus like anxiety that is crippling, that causes you not to be able to live your life to its fullest. You hide, you don't go in social environments because of it, or you limit your interaction with other people. That's a totally different ballgame than adrenaline, if you will. Carey, have you ever had an anxiety attack?
Anxiety attack? No, I'd call it, I think I got nervous one time before I did something crazy.
Perfect. So that's good. But more questions for you. Do you experience anxiety?
So what I want to say about anxiety is, no, I don't experience anxiety. And then what does it look like? I think each one of us has a little anxiety that looks different. So and sometimes it's hidden, and then all of a sudden you are living and you have a little anxiety. So I would say mine a lot of times looks hidden, meaning I'm unaware of it until it day after day after day. I am like, I don't feel like myself, right? So I'm gonna call that anxiety. Just kind of is this underlying, and it can build up, and then I go, I might be a little, and I'm going to use the word stress here. Is stress and anxiety the same thing? I feel a little stressed, and now that stress, I'm like, okay, I am stressed. And sometimes we don't even realize it. So I know my physical body, actually, when I get stressed, I get a cold sore. And so I'm like,
Yeah, I would really consider anxiety different than stress.
Okay. All right. Very good. Can stress lead to anxiety, or can anxiety lead to stress?
I think anxiety is coupled a lot with stress, but it's independent of it.
Okay, good. And let's look at what the dictionary has to say about this, Jeremy.
Yeah, I think it's important. As a person that does have anxiety, I believe that if you ask 9 out of 10 people that experience anxiety, they will clearly say, I experience anxiety.
Okay.
And so I just want to come from a place of respect and empathy, understanding of people that do experience anxiety. It feels very much out of your control. You don't know what causes it.
Okay.
It comes from left field, and it can become paralyzing, and you cannot move forward because you experience it. And it can pop on you at any moment in time. You can wake up with it, and then through my experience over the years is I was always looking for what it was that I could do to alleviate the anxiety. But I learned to come to realize is that the anxiety might not even be attached to anything.
Okay. So we get two definitions here. Stress, pressure or tension, okay, exerted on a material object. All right, let's go to 2. A state of mental or emotional strain or tension resulting from adverse or very demanding circumstances. All right, let's look at anxiety. A feeling of worry, nervousness, or unease, typically about an imminent event or something with an uncertain outcome. So that's anxiety for us. Different than stress, according to the dictionary here. Going back to, I think, our original question, to CBD. What's our opinion on CBD and anxiety, and how that could potentially be a, something that you could work into, right, your routine that could eliminate or ease some of that anxiety that you're feeling.
Every individual is unique to themselves, and there's not one cure-all for all. We know that some people experience CBD and it's transformational for them. I'm one of those people. CBD has drastically changed my life over the last 2.5 years of taking it. And I know people that take CBD and they say they don't experience any shift from it whatsoever. So I think it's all dependent on this person and the individual. There's a lot of science and research being done with cannabinoids and how it impacts your body. But I've seen with customers or clients, if you will, that have experienced the sauna and ice, the cold and hot therapy, which is and breath work, how that also resets the nervous system and changes the physical body and changes anxiety and fear. We've had people that have panic attacks, all of the sorts, that doing breath work, sauna and ice work has completely alleviated it by doing that work one time a week.
That don't you think some people that have never done getting the ice bath or even experienced the sauna, it's, extreme heat, that they feel stressed or have anxiety about doing it because they're going into the unknown? And so it's a practice, right, of a controlled practice that you can get into the ice knowing that you may have some fear or anxiety behind that, and you stress your body and you train your body, right, which is why we do this, to get comfortable with the uncomfortable or the feeling of unknownness, right? So we're training you through that. So I think such a great practice to add the breath and the fire and ice for sure.
Yeah, so I definitely think that being aware, the physical adaptation, which is impacted by the exposures, coupled with the mental adaptation by how you're getting involved and engaged with something that could be scary, and then working through that process that's going to stress the body, but the outcome will be positive, alleviating the physiological response of stress that's in your everyday life. And it's so powerful that just one session a week can really transform your week on a weekly basis. And so it's a lot of different approaches, but I would come back to the most basic fundamental that I believe is the best primer to get the body system to deal with stress and anxiety, and that's your breath. And we know that science proves that 3 to 4 slow, long inhales through the nasal passageway out through the mouth will reset the nervous system and bring you into a parasympathetic nervous system, which is rest and recover. And so when I really look at for myself and what I've been able to do research and study over the years dealing with my own stress, fear, anxiety, that breath has given me a tool to regulate my own, what I call internal static and noise, and how to deal with that through nasal breathing. There's a great book, Breath, by James Nestor, that gives you a lot of insights to breathing and how it can impact your body, your mind, and your nervous system, coupled with things like CBD, exercise, good eating. We know that alcohol and sugar can elevate nervousness, and blood sugar levels can drastically impact. It comes back to the statement, know thyself, and come to conclusions that is going to work for you, and explore potential opportunities from a natural way, all the way towards what we say is like, if you're dealing with high levels of panic attacks, anxiety, and stress, and you need to seek medical attention, or you need to speak to a therapist, in that sense, that I highly recommend you seek out the right practitioner for you to help you figure out. Because I know there's herbalists, there's acupuncturists that have helped me in my past that have been very powerful in getting my body under control. Yeah. And these were things that I know running, acupuncture were my first go-tos. And as I learned process of breath and CBD, different things like that, now I can modulate. But I'm really now working on the mental, the mind, the body, because being in a consistent sympathetic nervous system state, which is a constant stressor, and that's where we sit today in society, that we're being bombarded through our phones, which majority of people are dealing with in first world country. And then as the world gets plugged in and connected, stress levels are going up because we're getting bombarded. And so it goes back to, what else can I do?
Unplug.
Turn off, unplug. Doesn't mean that you can't be informed, but taking adequate steps to put yourself in power so you can make choices that are best for yourself and your body. So I encourage you to explore and go and find a lot of resources for what it is we're talking about, and we're here to help as well.
Awesome. Great, guys. Thank you. Send in your questions. We want to answer those. Let's be relaxed state today.